Blog Talk Radio.
Fantasy, sports, and politics.
Get ready to rumble!
You wanna talk smack? You in the right place. So take a step back before I get all up in your face. I know you got your little views, you know I got mine. But there's like 50 other dudes holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir.
Next caller, please.
And if I don't concur, we can agree to disagree. We're talking fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fantasy Sports and Politics. It is I, it is me, it is FSP, it is Vic, and I'm back with an hour and a half of great entertainment and information for you. On today's show, you can expect to hear about the Plexico Burris situation. What do I mean by that? I mean, we're going to talk about the possibilities of his landing spot once he is released and the NFL begins playing again. Seems as though Plexico gets released on Monday. There's a great shot that at 34, he'll be a very highly sought-after wide receiver. We'll talk about the NFL hearing, the labor hearing that just took place, and what got done and what didn't get done, and are the owners and the NFLPA having secret meetings just so that they can have these meetings? Which one's the show? Is it the courts or is it the meetings? We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the NBA Finals. The series is tied 1-1, where the Dallas Mavericks battled back to go on a 25-8 run at the end of game number 2 to pull out the victory. And the Heat, well, now they got to go to Dallas. 3 straight games. Can they steal one and get that home court advantage back? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Ohio State. Really? What's going on? Now listen, Big Ten. Supposedly one of the better conferences in the land, but you're really not, and you should be the Big 12 now, but you're not going to be because the Big 12's in the South. But anyway, Terrell Pryor, will he go in the NFL supplemental draft? And if he does go to the draft, who will pick him? Who will pick him? I don't know. A lot of talent, but a lot of learning to do. Also, we'll talk about the French Open. It's becoming very exciting. Roger Federer defeated a young man that was going on a tear, and he was turning some heads. We'll talk about that as well. Hopefully one of my co-hosts, Black, Rick, Jeff, or Jerry, will call in. We'll have some fun, and we'll talk about some things that everybody likes to talk about. We'll see, yes, and Mike Knox says yes, and we'll win, meaning the Heat will win 2 in Big D. I don't know about that, Mike Knox. I don't know about that. The Heatles are not ready. As I stated before, we never did commence our bet because you were too scared. I understand. Plus, you can't talk back because you're not here. We'll also talk about Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq Diesel retired. We'll talk about what's going on with the New York Knicks as well. Oh, my. Oh, my, oh, my. It's a great show planned for you, and we'll promo tomorrow's The Master Plan show. If Jerry comes on, I'll let him do it. If not, I'll promo it later on. But let's get the good and easy stuff out of the way first. Let's talk about the NBA and the retirement of one of the best players, in my opinion, in NBA history. Couldn't hit a free throw to save his life, but still one of the best players in the NBA. I'm talking about Shaquille O'Neal. So here's what's going on. Did you think Shaquille O'Neal made an impact in the NBA? I think so. But let's hear what he has to say.
I can remember time telling my parents that
I was like, Mommy, I don't like my name. I don't like my height. My mother said, you know what? Make them remember your name. Make them remember you. So as I start creating my style, my thing was to make people remember the name Shaquille O'Neal. Make people say, you know, this is a funny guy. Make people say he's not like the average superstar. I think I did that.
Shaquille O'Neal did do that in many ways than not, and he got emotional when talking about his history with Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba. You know, it hasn't been a good one, but you can catch sound bites of that piece. I'm not going to say it later on because I may or may not pull it out of the bag, but we'll see. It depends on if I get a call or two. But Shaquille O'Neal is 5th all-time in scoring. Just imagine how many more points he would have or have had if he hit some free throws. I'm not saying he would have been 4th or 3rd, but he's 5th all-time with one of the worst free throw percentages ever. Shaq Diesel, Shaq Daddy, Big Dog. Now, I tweeted him, and I said, I hope you are getting to coaching the youth or going back on his tour to get PE back in schools and changing the public schools diet and stuff like that, because I thought that was a great thing he did while he was with the Miami Heat. But he didn't tweet me back. But he had a great time yesterday with the reporters. About 120 people, reporters came to his estate and for the interview, and he actually did kind of a party for them. Reports were that he gave every reporter an interview. It's 120 folks, y'all. I wish I could have got my guys down there to do it, but hey, it is what it is. Shaquille O'Neal, may he go into the Hall of Fame very soon, and he needs to learn how to shoot free throws. But here's a current player that's on the New York Knicks, and because the Knicks have some issues as well. They just had their general manager retire. But Amari Stoudemire, he had this to say about Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq was obviously one of the greatest centers of all time, if not the greatest. He's the greatest if you ask me. But again, you know, I grew up in Orlando and watched him play in Orlando. I never saw a player with that much charisma who made kids enjoy watching him. And then on top of that, he was just so dominant on the basketball court.
Now, if you did not remember or recall, Shaquille O'Neal did play for not the Orlando Magic. Well, he did play for the Orlando Magic, but he played for the Phoenix Suns. And he and Stoudemire were teammates for a brief time. It wasn't a very good marriage because when Shaq came in, Phoenix had to change their style. They were the 7 seconds or less team with Stoudemire and what's my guy name? I can't remember his name right now, the point guard. It's escaping me. I'm tired, guys. Came from a barbecue. But at any rate, when Shaq came in, it became a half-court offense. And it kind of took them out of the rhythm and what they were doing, but it is what it is. And that's high praise from Amari Stoudemire, who thinks he's the best of all time. Of course, he's never seen Oscar Robertson play. He's never seen Wilt Chamberlain play or something like that. But, hey, it is what it is. And he has some issues of his own that he has to contend with the New York Knicks. Here's one of them right here.
We are definitely keying in on becoming a better defensive team. Obviously, Mike is one of the better offensive-minded coaches in the game, and defense is where we're looking to improve. And so I think that was the only thing that we was trying to get better at is defensively. And I think that should be a great start for us.
You think the Knicks need to worry about defense? Reports were that D'Antonio was not coming back, but we'll see. I think I got my boy Jeff the Joker on the line. Is this Jeff or is this Jerry? Who is it? 732. Welcome, Phoenix. What's the politics?
What's up there, Vic? How you doing? This is Jerry.
What's up, Jerry? How you feeling, brother?
All right.
Good. What are your thoughts about the Knicks and, Amari Stoudemire's reflection on they need to be a better defensive team?
Well, that's should be that's going without said, man. I mean, obviously that Dan Antonio, his reputation is not as a defensive coach; it's all offensive. And Knicks were like one of the worst teams, if not the worst team, with points against on the opponent. So I think it was only like a half a point differential between the Knicks and what they average per game and then what their opponent average per game. So it's that's going without said. That definitely needs to put some defensive emphasis and maybe a change of coach to do that.
Well, that's another thing that's going on. You know, the GM retired. You know, they talked about Isaiah Thomas coming back, but that's not going to happen. But here's a little, probably a sneak peek of what may be coming to New York.
Well, that's the one place that Phil would want to work, and if there was a GM opportunity, I think at some level probably does appeal to him, because the biggest reason it's hard to see him coming back as a coach is just because of the physical grind of it. His body really can't take it anymore.
So they're talking about, and I said it 3 times, Allen Iverson type deal, Phil Jackson becoming the new GM of the New York Knicks. And I'm going to ask Jeff the Joker to comment on that, and then I'm going to let Jerry get to it. Jeff, what do you think about that?
Oh, am I on? You know what? Phil Jackson, GM of the Knicks, I'm fine with that. Tito Jackson, Randy Jackson, I'd be fine with, as long as it's not Isaiah Thomas. That's my concern, because, you know, people talk about, you know, guys being the franchise. Isaiah Thomas, as an executive, is the franchise killer. He shouldn't even be allowed in New York, let alone be employed by the Knicks. But for some reason, Dolan, the owner of the Knicks, has some kind of man crush on Isaiah. So as long as the Knicks hire a legitimate basketball man to run the team, I'm not sweating it. But I really respected the work that Donnie Walsh did, because he turned that roster over, turned that team around pretty quick. You know, maybe, you know, he's getting older and maybe has health issues, but they could work around that if need be. You know, keep him on as a consultant or something. I mean, they could still keep him with the team, but, you know, if he's not happy, then he's not happy. I think that had something to do with it.
Well, also the fact that they wanted him to sign a extension, and he's 70 years old, and you know, he didn't want to commit to that. I mean, Jerry can speak to that. What do you think about it, Jerry?
Well, first of all, I want to do this, and I'm just saying this tongue-in-cheek. Now, Jim Dolan and Isaiah Thomas, is that a down low type of a deal or what?
Are you going to talk about that tomorrow on your show?
But seriously, he does have some health issues. He was team around the Garden with a walker, and I could understand him not wanting to commit, even though I am definitely a Donnie Walsh fan. I wish he would have stayed. He's going to be in a so-called consultant role with the Knicks, so I'm hoping his I wouldn't say it. I would say it. His protege that he's been grooming, his assistant GM, Allen Houston, gets the job. I think he'll continue in the Donnie Walsh way and use him as an actual consultant. So he'll have Donnie Walsh's ear or Donnie Walsh's wisdom, and he can carry it through to what the Knicks need to be as a heavy contender in the NBA. So.
Well, Houston is a fan favorite regardless. Now, his basketball acumen as far as the business side, I'm not sure of. I mean, was he a part of this purge that Donnie started a year or so ago so they could get Amari Stoudemire, so they could get Carmelo Anthony, and they're going to try and get Chris Paul? I mean, what part did Allen Houston play in that? Because if he played a big part, you know, that might be a resume builder right there. You guys are in the New York, New Jersey area. What do you know about that?
Who do you want first?
Either one.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jerry. Go first.
I'll jump in here. Allen Houston was an understudy, by for lack of a better term, under Donnie Walsh. So he was I guess part of that. I mean, he was involved in that. So he knows pretty much. He's learning the ins and outs of the job, and that's why I'm a big Allen Houston, even though he's an unproven as being head man. I think with the tutelage that Donnie Walsh has given him, and him being exposed to the New York type of way, I think he would be a good candidate, even though he's, like I said, he's an unproven, and this would be his first real job as the man in charge. So, what do you think, Jeff?
Okay. Yeah, what do you think, Jeff?
With all due respect to Allen Houston, I think I would only like him as GM if there was a president with a lot of experience, because, I mean, he did, Houston did have experience under Walsh, but not that much. So as long as there was someone a little more experienced, I would be okay with Houston, but hopefully he's been paying attention. I mean, Houston was a very good player. He wasn't a superstar like Isaiah Thomas, because so many star players have failed as coaches and executives, and Isaiah is a great example of that. But at least, with Houston, he does have some experience, and they'd be promoting from within. But, like I said before, I'd like to see, maybe someone at the top with a little more experience, but Houston could still get a promotion to GM. I'd be more than happy with that.
Okay. Well, New York. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish what you're going to say, Jerry.
One opinion I do have is, and I don't know if it's a popular opinion, but I think Isaiah is a good evaluator of talent. Now, he may not be a good people person, a good GM or a money man, but I think he's a decent evaluator of talent. So I have to give him that.
Okay.
Other than that, he failed in all the other categories. So.
Wow. Glad I'm not a Knicks fan. Well, let's do a little reflection with the Knicks real quick.
We did some good things, and, of course, like every other GM in the league, you've made a mistake or two. So I wasn't free from error, but I don't think anyone who has these jobs, there's 30 of them, I don't think you can find any of them that can say that they're free from error, and neither can I.
Yeah, that was your favorite person. You know that, right?
Let me tell you, Isaiah Thomas could run for mayor of New York City unopposed and lose, okay? He's not a top fan.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And it's not a personal issue. It's based on merit. And, for about 5 minutes, I felt very sympathetic for him with that alleged botched overdose. And when that happened, I was like, wow, then that's when you start thinking about, the person, the man, not the executive, not the superstar. But then he went and denied it and said, it's bad enough he denied it, but then he said it wasn't him with the overdose on pills, it was his daughter, which I thought was, even if that's true, I thought that was very low class. So then I promptly went back to disliking Isaiah Thomas with very little sympathy after that move. So,
wow.
Do you remember that? You guys remember that?
I remember the overdose. I didn't know he blamed it on his daughter.
Oh,
I didn't know he said his daughter did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, getting back to Shaq, I'll tell you, we could do like 3 shows about Shaq. That's how large he was, his career was. I mean, he just was. I mean, just to put it, simply, he was, larger than life, on the court, off the court. And you probably know this, and this is relevant. He grew up in a military family.
Yes.
And I got to give his parents credit. His stepfather was a sergeant in the Army, and Shaq, you know, when his mother moved around a lot with the stepfather, and they did a good job raising Shaq because, you know, he went to the NBA after 1 year in college, and, you know, a lot of money and fame for a young man, and he never got into trouble off the court. And especially when you see the younger Shaq, you know, very, very polite. You know, you could see that military background, very yes, sir, no, sir. And even when he became a star, he did keep a lot of that, those values. And just, you know, great personality, great sense of humor. You know, and I was thinking, I mean, Vic, you know, you're a music fan. I remember Shaq's rap album. And,
yes, I do.
I think I didn't really listen to it. I think it was a bit of a disappointment.
Very much so. But he had 3, by the way.
Oh, 3. Okay. I remember the first one, and I remember going to the CD store near my house, and the used rack was filled with the first Shaq rap album for $1 each. And that's usually a bad sign. When you'd see that, you knew something really bombed. Now, I don't really follow rap too much. You know, if I hear a rap song I like, you know, I'll appreciate it, but I don't know.
You don't appreciate no rap songs, but go ahead.
But no, I like Baby Got Back. I like the classic rap songs.
Oh, my God. Okay, hold on. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff has successfully diverted from his Knicks to Baby Got Back. That's all I wanted to say on that. Go ahead, Jeff.
So, I remember before Shaq had the solo rap album, he appeared on somebody else's album. And I remember thinking to myself,
Biggie Smalls. He did it with Biggie Smalls.
Okay, and I think, was there Fushnikins maybe? Was that the name of the other act?
Yes, he did. That was the very first one he ever appeared on, Fushnikins.
And I remember thinking to myself, after his first solo rap album, Bomb, which I guess was, you know, maybe needed a little bit of humbling because at that point, you know, maybe he thought he could do everything. I remember thinking to myself, maybe, and like I said, I'm no rap expert, but, you know, I follow music, you know, I guess. So maybe Shaq would be best as like a backup rapper, you know, just, you know,
oh my God, the hype man, the hype man,
right? But you know, kind of like almost like a Flavor Flav type, you know.
Oh my God,
well,
oh my God, Jeff.
But you know, an NBA superstar isn't going to be a backup rapper. But I
oh my God.
If you're a rap group, you're playing live, and you've got this giant live on stage with you, you know, chiming in, you know, here and there.
Oh my God.
Awesome. That would be
the show has gone downhill. Jeff, I love you, man, but I can't roll that way with you today, dog. Oh, my goodness. Jeff Goldberg is on something today, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what it is. But he
I'm high on life. I don't mess around with the hard stuff, man.
Okay, because Jeff wants to see Shaquille O'Neal as a backup hype man rapper. I love you, Jeff. I really
he obviously
do.
wasn't a lead rapper, but he likes rap. He likes to rap. But that's not his gift, you know. But he would have been great as, you know, if you call it a hype man, you know, whatever. But you know, just as a presence, just a live presence on stage, it would have been awesome.
Okay. All right, Jeff.
That was my impression of his rap career. Yeah. Shaq is a Renaissance man. He does it all. I mean, he's done acting. He wants to get into law enforcement, which if he did, he'd never go undercover. Yeah, he's got a lot of interest. He's a Renaissance man.
All right, check it out. Since we're talking about Shaq and everything, let's transition over to a team he played for. Now, the word is this, that the Lakers are no longer going to run the triangle offense. Check this out.
On the offensive side of the ball, we will not run the triangle. The triangle is incorporated in a lot of different pieces of almost everybody's offense in the NBA because it's just a lot of different basic basketball reads. It will also be incorporated into what we do offensively. We'll have some pieces of it in our offense.
Dun, 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 dun. Mike Brown. Like Mike Jones, Mike Brown, is he starting to disassemble the legacy of the Lakers by removing the triangle offense that Kobe has come to love and just perfect? I got to know, what do you think, Jerry?
Well, we touched on this, Jeff and I, and Kavitas, and Jackie Taylor touched on this on Thursday. Jackie, in particular, she was all over this. And Jeff knows it because we heard every last four-letter word about the Lakers.
Please tell me you were over the blooper, because I didn't go over the show. Oh, man.
No. It all came out. Anyway, well, it was a good time, but I think Mike Brown is going to put his stamp on the Lakers, and that includes getting rid of the triangle offense. I think he probably got his marching orders from the two Busses, Jerry and Jim Buss, that we want to get rid of the triangle offense. You run what you want to run. This basically what I was trying to say on Thursday with Jackie, and Jackie wasn't really too thrilled with it, that the Busses are putting their stamp on this team. Mike Brown's going in a totally different direction. And they're going to, I guess, basically, I think what you're saying, Vic, or what I'm saying is that the Lakers are going to be in for some hard times. Going away from this with the experienced veterans, going from the triangle to whatever offense Mike Brown's going to run. It's going to be a transition that some of them are going to be able to go with, and some of them are going to not be too happy about. So anybody who's a Laker fan, hold on, because the ride's going to get rough.
Sure is. So, Jeff, do you think Mike Brown's making a good decision, along with the Buss family, in removing the triangle offense from the Lakers? Now, they didn't have that before. They didn't have it before. They did Showtime, but go ahead.
The whole Mike Brown to L.A. issue, the triangle is the least of their concern. And I think as long as, I'm serious. It looks like a very unpopular hire. And the triangle, that's lower down the list. I think Kobe will be fine with whatever offense they run as long as he's getting the ball a lot. I think that's the bottom line. Now, my question is, I think Kobe had 2 years left on his contract. If these next 2 years aren't happy, I wonder if he finishes his career in Italy, because it really could if he's not happy, I think.
But he's still in the prime of he's in the bottom half of his career, but he's still a dominant player. So what makes you think, other than the fact he grew up in Italy and he's a former military brat as well, why would he finish his career in Italy though? What do you see that puts you in that boat, that he might go to Italy?
To me, it comes down to happiness. If he's not happy with the coach, he's not happy with the situation, if they could offer him more money, it's all if. I think, though, he's the type of player, he's well aware of history and his legacy, and I'm sure he'd prefer to stay in the States to add to his impressive career numbers. But if he's not happy, I could see the possibility of him going to Italy. And his father played ball in Italy. I don't know if he was in the military, but Jerry probably remembers. His dad was Jelly Bean Bryant. He was a 6'8" guard for the Sixers. He was a backup, and then he went over to Italy to play, and that's why.
Kobe was over there.
That's why he spent a lot of his childhood over there.
Okay. Well, you're on a roll today. I must admit, Jeff, you are on a roll today. It might be a Kaiser roll. It might be a Philly roll, but you're on a roll today. What do you think about that, Jerry, before I go on to it? I was going to go to another topic, but Jeff just made me think, what if Kobe's not happy? I know there's one team out there that can pay him a lot of money, but do you think there's a team out there that Kobe will go to just to finish his career?
Wow.
Yeah, because Jeff's on a roll today, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I don't know if he would go to the Italy. I think he loves to play in the NBA. He loves to showcase his talents in the NBA. I think he's a basketball player first and an entertainer second. So I think he would love the spotlight of playing in the U.S. as being one of the best players in the NBA.
Hold on. Let me say this first. Let me say this before you finish that out. I think what Jeff said actually could happen, and the reason why is because, someone in the chat room, Runaway Slave, a.k.a. Nate, states that there's not going to be an NBA season next year, which, in all likelihood, it might not be. That's one less year that Kobe can play in the NBA, and one year older he becomes. Seriously, Jeff has me thinking, would Kobe opt to go overseas and play if the NBA locks out for half a year or maybe a whole year? Seems though he only has maybe, I'd say 4 years left of good basketball play. I mean, that's a possibility.
Well, Kobe Bryant, how old is Kobe? 32 years old?
About 33, 34.
Okay, so he's only got a few years. The way he plays, he's only got a few years left on a high level. Now, I'm going to throw another crazy thing out here since we're talking about it. Just like the NFL, and I know we're probably going to get to that, just like the NFL is eventually going to get their season going, and I think it's going to get it going on time, and we'll go on that probably a little bit further into the show. I think the NBA is going to go through the same process, that they're going to go and do the same process as the NFL. I think I see this happening to all the major sports whenever their CBA is up. But eventually, they're going to get their season going because there's too much money to risk and going on time without missing any games. So with that being said, I think if Kobe was to go to a different team, I'm going to put this one out there. What team did his father play for?
The 76ers, right?
His father played for the 76ers. So if Kobe was to leave the Lakers, I see it going to the Philadelphia 76ers and playing out the rest of it, the end of his career with the Sixers.
Okay. Y'all just starting a whole bunch of trouble. Okay. All right. So let's say he does go to Philly, but Philly doesn't have anybody there young enough to keep going, because Iguodala is pushing 30-something or almost 30-something. There's no true point guard. You know, what's my man name that keeps getting hurt every freaking year, but he came from the Clippers. Power forward. Can't remember his name right now. It's going to hit me anyway. But there's really nothing in Philly for him to go to, so why would he go there?
You're talking about Elton Brown.
Elton Brand, there you go.
Yeah.
But why would he go to Philly other than the fact that his father played for the 76ers? Why? I honestly don't see it. I would see him going somewhere maybe young and upstart like New York and go back. If Phil's the GM in New York, If Phil's the GM in New York, I'll put it on this. If Phil Jackson is the GM in New York and Kobe leaves, he'll go play with Stoudemire. He'll go play with Melo and probably Chris Paul. And then you'll have the Knicks versus the Heat in every freaking NBA Eastern Final for the next 7 years.
Well, that's nice pie in the sky, but to put all those superstars on the same team, or all those stars on the same team, there isn't enough basketballs in the NBA for that. Because Kobe needs the basketball. Amari Stoudemire definitely needs the basketball, and so does Carmelo Anthony. Chris Paul, he's a distributor. That's a different story. But those three players by themselves are a big conflict on needing the basketball. I understand that LeBron and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh are that triple triple right there. Those are a different breed.
The Heatles, yes, the Heatles.
The Heatles. Well,
these are the Rolling Stones.
Those are different type of players. Dwayne Wade and LeBron James don't mind passing the ball, and same thing with Chris Bosh. We're talking about Kobe Bryant, Amari Stoudemire, and Carmelo Anthony. Respectively, on each one of those teams, if they come together, and I'm not saying they are, but we're just talking pie in the sky here, they were the man on each one of those teams, and they handled the ball quite a bit. To put those three together and being able to have them coexist, it's like apples and oranges. It's a hard enough time with Carmelo Anthony and Amari Stoudemire being able to coexist. If you happen to see when Knicks played, the ball didn't move around that much when one or the other got the ball. To put Kobe Bryant in that mix, I don't think so. That's tough. That's real tough.
Well, it's tough. I think it's tougher than Philly. I mean, it's not as tough as Philly because at least New York has a chance to win another championship before Philly. I mean, look what you did, Jeff. Look what you and your dreaming did, talking about Shaq. Now we all pie in the sky stuff. Freaking Jeff Goldberg. Okay, now this is going to be on demand anyway. All right, now look. Since we're talking about the Heatles, let's transition to, well, you know what? Yeah, I have to. I might get to the French Open information I wanted to get in. I should have did that first. But we're talking about the Heatles and we're talking about the NBA. So let's go on to the NBA Finals. Now, last week on this program, Jeff wasn't on air with us, but myself, Jerry, my cousin Michael, and Mike Knox made predictions. And Jerry said 2 people on the phone are going to be right, and 2 people on the phone are going to be wrong. Now, that's an accurate statement. I mean, it's 100% accurate. I stated that the Heat were going to lose the first game, and the Mavericks were going to win, and they were going to split in Miami. Okay, I was 50% right. They took the split in Miami. Let's talk about, because another subject matter that came up was who was clutch. That LeBron was clutch. That Wade was clutch. But as I said, the big German was clutch.
He's the best clutch player in the NBA today. He's better than Kobe. He's better than Wade. He's better than LeBron. Those guys get all the attention, but you look at all the raw numbers, nobody is better inside of 5 seconds to make shots than Dirk Nowitzki is.
The big German Dirk Nowitzki. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen. And Jeff, you might differ in opinion, like my cousin and Mike Knox did last week with Jerry and myself. But with a messed up finger on his non-shooting hand, Dirk Nowitzki battled those Mavericks back. Battled them back. A 25-8 run to win that game. I mean, what do you think about that, Jeff?
I mean, you got to give Nowitzki his due. I mean, just he's a guy who, despite his greatness, has always had the rap for not being physical, not being tough, not being clutch. He might not be physical, but he's obviously clutch. So you got to give the man credit.
So a question that came up on a show was, if Dirk doesn't win a championship this year, will he be considered soft again? Sort of like Chris Bosh. Jerry, is he clutch? And if they don't win the championship, will he then be considered soft again?
I've always considered Dirk Nowitzki soft, but in this, I said it last week and I'll say it again this week, this is a different Mavericks team. This is a different Dirk Nowitzki this year. This right. I'm telling you, in the playoffs, you can see it. You can see his toughness. He's got a lot more heart. This guy is determined. I couldn't stress this enough last week, and I'll do it again this week. The Miami Heat are one of the worst teams in the league in the regular season. That if it's 5 points or less, they are one of the worst teams to win a game. And it showed up. It showed up in that last game. With less than 5 minutes, they lost the game by 2 points. So it proved again that if the game is close, and I think this is a key for Dallas, Dallas wants to try to keep this game close because they know the tendencies of the Miami Heat to lose games when it's close. And it showed out in the second game. And I see this, like I said last week, I see this as being a very tight series. Both of these teams are so close in how they got to where they're at right now that if it's a close game, Miami's going to fall short. And I can't stress it enough. I like Dallas, and like I said, there's a totally different Dallas team than you've ever seen before playing. Even in their first game, this is a totally different Dallas team. They got a lot more heart and a lot more toughness than they ever had.
I agree with you, and you spoke up something, and my cousin, I believe I know his number by now, popped up. Before I put my cousin on, let's talk about the Heat's defense. What happened to it?
Miami looked like they didn't know how to cope once it started going south. It's the first time that they've really hit a big roadblock in this playoffs, and then they did not handle it well.
So the defense of the Miami Heat somewhat wilted. Call from the 240-413. You are on Fantasy Sports and Politics. What do you have to say about this? And I think it's my brother, my cousin, McCall.
What's up, cuz?
Tell my other cousin happy birthday, by the way.
Yeah, you know, I'm about to take him out to do paintballing or something, shoot him up or something. But, man, I ain't giving Dallas no credit. I'm telling you, that game, what you saw was a complete breakdown of the Heat. Because I'm watching Dirk, you know, do the little spin and turn, and I'm like, somebody foul him. Somebody foul him. And then if you listen to what he said, he was like, I thought they were going to foul me. And I was like, what are they doing? What is they doing? What are they doing? Man.
Mike, listen.
Vic, I gotta get in here. I gotta get in here for this one. Vic.
Go ahead.
Now, he said he didn't know what the heck they were doing. Well, that has to do with when the going gets tough, having enough heart to do things that you're supposed to be doing.
Ooh.
Nah. You talking about that?
Like I said, the Heat just broke down, man. They just totally collapsed. And they just totally collapsed. And it had nothing to do with Dallas. Nothing to do with Dallas. Nothing to do with the Nothing.
Let Jay talk. What you
Go ahead, Jerry. My bad. Go ahead, bro.
Now, he's saying they completely broke down. Now, the only reason they completely broke down is because they may have lost their heart at the time of the game. So what I'm saying is, you're saying that Dallas has no heart, but he showed a lot of heart in that fourth quarter to say, no, we're not losing this game, and Miami showed no heart and not letting Dallas win that game. And if you say it had nothing to do with Dallas and all on Miami, well, if it was all on Miami, they lost their heart in that game, and hopefully they can get it back going to Dallas.
Wait a minute.
I got go ahead, Michael. But I have a possible answer to this question, and I want to play it before you give your answer. Okay, Michael? Here's a possible Here's a possible answer to what happened to the Heat.
There was a little bit of inexperience, I think, on the coaching side from Miami at the end of the game there. Here they are double-teaming him, triple-teaming him. Sometimes there were even 4 guys around him at one time, forcing him to give up the ball. I don't know how you don't run a second or a third guy and make him give it up.
I mean, that's a possible answer. You know, maybe it isn't that they didn't have heart. Maybe it's the fact that the coach just didn't give them the right stuff to do, Mike.
I don't think it was the heart. I think it was a combination of, one, this team needs to identify itself with the real man on that team, and it's not LeBron James. That's one thing. 2, yeah, the coaching wasn't there. I mean, I just didn't understand why they didn't foul Dirk on that inbounds pass. I didn't understand that. I'm still confused by it. I'm just like, what? No, I don't think they. You know, to go back, I don't think they lost their heart. I just think they have an identity problem. They had an identity crisis there. I mean, because you had Dwayne, you know, taking over, and I'm like, all right, this is it right here. Then he just don't do nothing, and I'm thinking he thinking, all right, LeBron could get it now, but LeBron ain't getting. He doing what? Fadeaway 3-pointers. It's cool when he making it, but come on, Slim, the percentages let you know. Take your big 6'8", 250 crybaby butt to the hole. I'm not understanding that.
Okay.
Chris,
all right, so
Chris never went to the hole. I'm confused.
Let me ask Jeff.
I understand that.
Wait, okay. Jerry, I got to get Jeff in here.
Now,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The aftermath of that game was pretty much the debate. Was it a comeback or was it a collapse? Or was it a little from column A, a little from column B? I guess the bottom line is what's going to happen in Game 3 and 4. You know, the NBA, it's, you know, when teams score in spurts, but that late in the game, you don't allow, you know, you're not supposed to allow a spurt like that. And the Heat, you know, unless it's important, they're usually good on defense. I mean, they're hard to break 100 points on, but you know, maybe it was trying for too many threes late in the game, going for, you know, the highlight reel, going for the kill shot instead of just playing solid basketball and finishing the game out.
Right.
And you know, Eric Spoelstra, not a popular or respected NBA coach, to put it mildly.
Wow. Well, here's what I got to say. Let me do this. I'm going to let you talk. Here's what I think. I just think the Heat can't cover. I just don't think they really can. They, as I said before, have the formula to take care of the Mavs. And here's a little something to support what I'm saying.
They don't get shots up very quickly. They take the shot clock down. I mean, they made 4 or 5 shots last night, you know, that were forced shots right up against the shot clock, you know, before the buzzer went off. And you know what? If you play with fire long enough, you're going to get burnt. And they wound up getting burned that way.
So basically, they played a half-court offense that milked the clock. They played a football game during a basketball game, if you understand what I'm saying. When you're playing football, the object is to milk the clock. If you have a big enough lead, milk the clock. You can give up yards as long as you don't give up the score. But they played a prevent style of defense and missed those open shots, or those shots like Mike was saying, taking fadeaway threes, doing this, that, and the third. I mean, to be honest, they pretty much defeated themselves by not playing good defense, by not fouling when they should have, which could have been a coach thing, but also, you know, just bad shot selection. But, I mean, this is my thought process on it from my analysis and what I've seen and heard. But, Jerry, jump in there, and you and Mike battle it out. I'm going to give Jerry 20 seconds. I'm going to play the horn, and then, Mike, you got 20 seconds, and I'm going to play the horn. Go, Jerry.
The key to beating the Heat is this. If the Heat are up 5 to 10 points, they're a good front-running team. If it's 5 points or less, they are very, very beatable team, one of the worst teams to play in close games in the league. So as long as you have a close game, 5 points or less, you are almost guaranteed to beat the Heat. They can't stand the pressure. That all goes.
Time's up, bruh. Good point, Michael.
The Heat. The thing about the Heat is they are beatable, but the thing of it is they beat themselves. They collapse. They collapse. That's the only way that Dallas is going to win, and that's why they won. It's because the Heat collapsed. If they're playing that prevent defense and they're standing up at the top of the lane, milking the clock, go to the hole, take it to the rack. You're up by 15. Why are you shooting 3-pointers? Make them work.
Had to cut you off. All right, Jeff, I'll give you 30 because I know you're going to take 20 minutes to get your point. Get it.
What's the question again? I mean, we kind of get sidetracked.
Okay. What do you think was the ultimate reason for the Heat losing that game or the Mavericks winning the game?
Several. All the above. That's it. All the above.
All the above. Define all the above. Bad coaching, bad defense, what?
Yep. I mean, but poor shot selection, poor leadership, poor coaching, poor clutch play, all the above.
Wow. I thought you were going to be the longest. That's why I left you for last. Okay.
Vic,
yes.
That's all the same stuff that was been happening in the regular season. It showed itself in the playoffs. They are not a good team if the game is close. And that's
so adversity. They wilt under adversity.
Excuse me?
They wilt under adversity.
And that has to do with what you got in your chest that keeps you alive, your heart.
Wow. All right, so Michael, question for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, you look at the game. You saw both games, correct?
Right.
Game 1 and Game 2. Okay. What was the big difference between Game 1 and Game 2? Whereas Dallas was leading in Game 1, somehow Miami came back and took it over and won, and the opposite happened in Game 2. Well, what is the big difference that you saw between the two games?
The big difference was they reverted back to once they got up by that 15 points, they reverted back to all this one-on-one type of stuff. They stepped away from the team basketball concept that they were using and was being so successful for them. They reverted back to it, and I just don't. I'm just not sold on Dallas beating these guys. I'm not sold on it. I'm more so sold on them blowing it. They blew it. They've shown, because the first game they showed they could beat them. The second game they were on top 15 and they just blew it. They just blew it.
Wow. So, okay, Jerry, you remember 06. Do you think this is a reversal of fortune from 06 where Dallas was definitely the dominant team and ended up losing the championship to Miami? Do you see a reversal of fortune in this?
The difference in this game, in 06, is Rick Carlisle, and an emphasis on defense, and the toughness of this team compared to the offensive-minded team of 06. This team plays a decent defense and is tenacious, and they have a better heart in close games than a Miami Heat. I can't stress that enough. I cannot stress that enough, that Dallas is very tough-minded. And it's obvious that if the game is close, the Miami Heat are going to be having this in the back of their minds. Here we go again. Here we go again. How are we going to lose this game? Here we go again. How are we going to lose this game?
Nah, man. Nah.
Well, no. I think he makes a point. Jeff, do you think it might be... What I'm saying, Jeff, do you think this is it could be a psychological thing with the Heat?
It might be. I don't like to read into psychology too much for major league pro teams, but the thing is, one of the reasons these guys make it to the big leagues is because they can put, yesterday and 2 days ago behind them. This is one of the reasons why they make it to the big leagues and other guys don't. So, once they roll the balls out on Sunday and, the sweat starts flowing, who knows? Miami could get in a groove and, they could put it behind them maybe. But then if they're in a similar situation and they get a timeout or a commercial break and they got some time to think, they're going to be thinking about it. But it might not happen.
Okay. All right, so Mike, you were laughing the entire time. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. That is just so weak. That is so weak. That is weak.
Why?
There is no way that the Miami Heat with Dwayne Wade, LeBron, and Chris Bosh and the rest of the mob that they have on there would be thinking that way. No, that is just no.
Why? I mean, but why? Why can't they have that doubt in their mind?
Because that's not their mentality. That's not D Wade's mentality. They're not the inferior team here. They're not. They're not the inferior team.
Well, I say they're not the inferior players, but I think in my mind they're the inferior team. Not, they're if you go player by player.
Well, you gotta have a demon to exercise to be the inferior team. And last time I checked, Dallas was that team that got to exercise the demon.
Vic, can I ask Mike a question?
Go ahead.
Mike, answer me this, please. Why is it, when you say that you don't think that's the case, why is it that they're one of the worst teams, if it's a 5-point lead or less, that they're more likely to lose that game? And I don't have the statistics, but I know it's pretty bad, like one of the worst in the NBA, top 5 or top 3 at least, that if the game is close, 5 points or less, they're likely to lose that game versus win it with those 3 superstars on the team.
Like I said, what I said to you earlier, it's not hard. It's identity. It's an identity crisis. You got arguably one of the best players in the NBA on the team, but it's not his team. It's Dwayne Wade's team. So if
I agree on that.
If you come down to the end of the game, now you don't know who's gonna be the one to close it out. You want the best player in the league to do it, which is he's obviously shown me enough to let me know that he's not a closer. He's not a closer. Dwayne Wade is the closer. He should be closing those games. He should be closing those games. LeBron should be carrying low from the beginning to the third to probably the top of the fourth, and then from the top of the fourth they need to be passing out to D Wade, setting D Wade up the rest of the game. And and they're not doing that.
Okay, then my follow-up question is this: if they have such an identity crisis, they got to the NBA Finals. What makes you think they have an identity crisis is going to change in the NBA Finals when games are usually closer?
Because they've gotten to the NBA Finals. They've gotten this far with just that sheer talent. They've gotten this far, and then top of that with the fact that Dallas is just waiting to be getting handed some bullshit. They waiting for it. Waiting for it.
That's weak. That's weak.
They waiting
Come
for
on,
it.
that's weak. That's weak.
Nah,
Come on,
they
played the same comparable players on the teams in the West as the Miami Heat in the East. I laid that out all last week. So and they got past. They got past all those players. They got past all those teams just like the Heat did. Now they can't be weak. They got to have some type of heart playing in the NBA Finals. Stuff to getting past the.
I didn't say Dallas didn't have any heart. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. You stated that the Heat don't, they have no heart, and that's, I don't think that's the case.
Okay, fellas. All right. Okay, fellas. We got that. We got that. So this is a spirited debate. I got 30 minutes left of live air. We still got to talk about football and a little French Open, and we still got to promo Jerry's show that's coming on tomorrow, the Master Plan, which, if I'm not mistaken, will cover men on the down low, why they do it, and how they get away with it. So, I still got 30 minutes to cover some stuff, y'all. Okay. It's a crazy show today. Crazy show today. All right. Who's up there laughing? Somebody laugh. Who's laughing?
I'm laughing because
that was me. It's a funny topic, and I emailed Jerry about it. I think it's a lot of rumor and innuendo about some of these celebrities on the down low, but it's these stories that go around. But gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I got to get rolling. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Hey, Jeff, you brought it today, Slim. I don't know what you had to eat or drink, but do it again next week, all right?
I just had a Pop-Tart and some apple juice, nothing fancy, but it's been a pleasure.
Take care, Jeff.
Take it easy, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Jeff the Joker, causing all types of controversy, talking about Kobe going to Italy to finish out his career. Quite possibly might happen. I don't know. But all types of things. I want to get away from basketball real quick so we can talk about football before we get too carried away. But before I get to football, how many guys are you guys following the French Open? If not, there was a male player that was on a rampage, so to speak, just mowing down his competition. And it was highly suspected that he would defeat Roger Federer. He did not. We're talking about the Djokovic. Can't get his name correctly. But here's his thoughts. Djokovic's thoughts on his French Open outing.
I don't regret. I try not to look behind. What happened, really. I can't affect it anymore. In some moments I was lucky, in some moments he was lucky, but this is sport, as I said, it's a couple of points really decide the winner, especially at this level, and I was aware of that, there's not much to be sorry for.
So this kid, he was going to take out the number 3 or the number 2 player in the world, had a couple mistakes, and Federer ended up winning, but Federer had this to say about the French Open and his opponent.
Honestly, I was very confident, especially once I was up 7-6, 4-1. I kind of felt like this match is not going to slip out of my hands, even though I probably missed another 10 or 15 break points at the end of the second set. I just felt you don't give me such a lead and then think you can crawl back into the match. I knew I was probably going to close this out.
All right, Jerry. So we lost Michael. Go ahead.
That sounds a little cocky. I know Roger Federer is a very confident tennis player, but I've never heard him be as confident talking or cocky as saying that. I knew that it was going to be mine after whatever. So that kind of surprised me on that. So I haven't been covering it, but that, like I said, that comment surprised me. I think the Novak Djokovic is a pretty cocky player, if that's what you're trying to tell me.
Well, no, he's not a cocky player. Djokovic, he's one of those guys that, he surprisingly did very well in the French Open tournament. He was eliminated. He wasn't expected to get as far as he did and defeat the players that he did.
Really? He's rated number 2.
Oh, I thought Federer was number 2.
He's rated number 2 in the singles rankings.
Okay, I thought it was Federer that was number 2. Well, I'm smoking my Cheech and Chong. Okay. Well, he was expected to beat Federer, and Federer was expected to beat or to have a good outing versus him, but Djokovic was supposed to win and go on to face Roger Nadal, but it didn't take place. But it was a very good match. Michael, did you follow the French Open at all?
No, I haven't been following it too much.
Okay. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, that's why I'm FSP, and they are my friends and co-hosts.
Here we go. That little bit of self-promotion there. Go ahead.
There you go. Self-promotion. Okay. Well, we're going to get off of the French Open. Let's get into football. And you know what I do? You know how I get things done before we do football. I got two things I got to do. First,
don't do it.
I got to do this. Then I'm going to do this.
Here we go.
Carrying the ball 20 times a game requires power and valor, not niftiness. The water dug and whippet backs rarely survive the wail and howl of the banshee. Stacked defenses in the pros. They must meld the buck of a billy goat with the sudden surge of a sprinter. He does not move with polish or slickness. His method is not Grand Prix, but demolition derby.
You thought I was going to play the Redskins thing, didn't you, Jerry? Didn't you? No. All right, here we go. Top of the list. There's a certain player getting out of prison on Monday, and this player is going to be 34 years old. A former teammate of his states there's no way that this player is going to go back to his former team. However, this player also stated that he might go to the Philadelphia Eagles. We're talking about Plexico Burress, and right now we're going to talk about a 34-year-old athlete that's been out of circulation for a couple years, going to a team that has established wide receivers, or not.
We keeping you up?
Who think he might go? Say again?
I tell you, we keeping you up?
Yeah, shut up, dude. I'm tired, man. I'm tired, dude. It's been a long day. Anyway, Michael, where do you think Plexico Burress is going to go? And who needs him the most?
I have no idea where he's going to wind up. It's going to be interesting to see where he goes. I'm praying that he doesn't come to the Washington Redskins. We don't need we don't need no more circuses. Really? I mean,
wow. I mean, they're going to let go of Santana Moss.
Yeah.
They're letting go of Santana Moss, so they need somebody else.
Yeah, but I don't think Shanahan's that type of guy that's going to roll the dice on him. He's not. I don't believe that.
Well, his age is a factor to me. But he dealt with Brandon Marshall, so it wouldn't put it past me that he would deal with Plexico Burress. But the big thing is the rumors he's going to Philly. Now, Jerry, I think the need for him most, and who can afford to pay him some money, if he required a lot, would be St. Louis. That's the big rumor. Do you see Plexico Burress going to St. Louis?
All right, there's two teams that I can think off the top of my head that need wide receivers. Or one have wide receivers, but both of them are free agents and have a chance of losing at least one, maybe both of them. The others, being the St. Louis Rams, they absolutely need a big-time wide receiver. If Plexico Burress has his skills intact when he comes out of prison, and he's able to perform at a high level, he would be a good fit with Sam Bradford, and he would also be a good fit, in my opinion, not because I'm a Jet fan, but because I think it would serve a need, and he's used to the New York environment. He could play for the New York Jets also, and Rex Ryan.
Okay. I mean, now there's some truth to that. There's some truth to that because I look at it this way. The Jets are also looking at getting Randy Moss. They're going to try to, they're conceding the fact they're going to lose either San Antonio Holmes or Braylon Edwards. The only safe receiver right now, or receivers right now, in New York, the Jets that is, are Brad Smith and Jericho Cotchery.
No,
the other two.
Brad Smith may be a free agent also.
Okay. Well, Jericho Cotchery is the only one that's really safe right now. But they're talking about getting Randy Moss. I don't see them not going after Plexico Burress, simply because if they're willing to bring in a 34-year-old Randy Moss, I don't see why they wouldn't bring in a 34-year-old Plexico Burress, other than the fact that Plexico has been out of the league for 2 years. But I think the need for development, as well as I don't want to say stability or whatever, a receiver for St. Louis is the fact. I think LaRon Robinson? Is that his name? The other receiver in St. Louis that broke his ankle, but he had a stellar year the year before. LaRon Robinson, I believe that's his name.
Yes.
And Avery. Two explosive young guys, but both injury prone. Sure. I think if you give Sam Bradford that receiver in Plexico Burress, coupled with Steven Jackson, and an already, potent defense is getting better and better each year, I think St. Louis becomes a contender, a legitimate contender. That's just my opinion. What do you think, Jerry?
Well, like I said, that's one of the teams I named. They definitely are in need of receivers for like I said, like you said, for the simple fact is the ones they have on the team are very brittle, including the one that you didn't mention, is Denario Alexander, who was lighting it up until he got hurt last year. So you got three speedy, fragile wide receivers, and they can't be relied on from week to week, maybe even from game to game or play to play, because they're so fragile. You need somebody that's got some height, got some durability with him, and Plexico Burress is one of those guys. When he's playing, if he hurt, he still plays. So I would go hard for Plexico Burress. I can't see. I understand the reasoning that may want to go to Philly. Both of Vic and Burress are Virginia guys, and I think they've been conversing with each other, and it would probably be a touchy-feely type of fit for him. But in reality, for football, St. Louis and, like I'm saying, the Jets would be probably two spots, and St. Louis being the number one for Plaxico to go to.
Okay, so Mike, my question to you is, do you think he would be a good fit, Plexico Burress, in Philly? Do you see him? Because remember, they still got to pay Deshaun Jackson. He's looking for a new contract. Do you think he'll be a good fit in Philly?
I think Philly is much more equipped to handle the circus that's going to come with him. All because the model is Michael Vick. As far as the offense is concerned, I'm not. Wait a minute. New York ran kind of like a West Coast, so you know what? Maybe he will be a a decent fit there, even with Deshaun Jackson there. I mean, they would need like a solid number two, and I think first coming in he'll be like a good number 3 for them. I can see in theory how it could work. It just would depend on Plaxico. It would just depend on where he is.
Well, okay, so that means where does Jeremy Maclin fit? Because if Plaxico comes in, first of all, he's going to come in on a shortened season, I believe. I believe the season's going to come in late, and we'll probably miss maybe 4 games or so. But that means the training camp's going to be less. That means there'll be less preseason games and stuff like that. There may not even be, and we said this before, there may not even be a Hall of Fame game. But through those three receivers. So dynamic. I mean, who takes a back seat? Because Michael Vick, as Jerry said, he's a Virginia guy. He's been talking with Vick a lot. Maybe they have a rapport already that, Vick and Deshaun Jackson have a good rapport, but it's just deep balls. Jeremy Maclin really had a better rapport with Kevin Kolb. So how do they mix? How do they mix the two or the three receivers? That's my question. And a dark horse in this game or in this bidding is Atlanta.
No.
I heard that Atlanta has an interest. They have a small interest in Plexico Burress. So you give them Michael Turner at running back, Tony Gonzalez at tight end, Roddy White, Jones, and Plexico.
I just don't think that.
Very potent.
I just don't think that Atlanta will go for that. I really don't. I mean, I think they'll just stay away from that. I really do. They ever since the Michael Ho debacle, I think they're going to stay clear away from that. I mean, it's in theory, the theory sounds good, Vic, but nah, I don't think they're going to have the balls to do it.
Okay. What do you think, Jerry?
Any players that you notice all the players that Atlanta is either drafting or trading for are clean guys. No controversy, nothing that would shine negative on the franchise. I don't think they're going to change up and get somebody that just coming straight out of jail, even though the reason he's in jail is because he shot himself. But just like Mike said, well, just like he said, I don't think they're going to go that route. They want to stay away from the controversy and roll with what they have. They got 13-3 last year. They got a new toy to play with Julio Jones, and I forgot their running back off the top of my head.
Michael Turner.
No, the new running back. They just drafted. I think Jaquez Rogers or something like that. I forget his name.
Yeah, speedy guy. Not Jaquez Rogers. It was a speedy guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't think they're going to roll with Plexico.
Well, let's say this season gets underway, right? We got 12 minutes left live there, and I want to move into this subject matter real quick. Why are these owners doing these secret meetings, huh? Why are they doing it? But a judge states that if they rule, one side's going to be very happy and the other side's going to be very sad or upset. The same ruling or the same type of statement was made when the female judge, her name escapes me right now, stated that and ruled for the players. What's being said now is these deliberations that are going on right now for the NFLPA and the NFL are geared more toward the owners. So let's find out what's going on.
I think the owners won this round. I don't think the players did enough to change the two judges that had been ruling for the owners all along. They seem more receptive and more sympathetic to Paul Clement, the owner's attorney, who was arguing that this is a labor matter. This is not an antitrust matter.
Now, we made the point several times, we even did a partial show on it, that the Republican appointed judges were the difference in the not repealing the stay, but maintaining the stay in in this case. Do you see this hearing that just commenced going in favor of the owners, and what impact will it have on this labor dispute? Jerry.
Well, it basically said in due time, or basically 2 to 6 weeks, that they're going to rule on this. in lieu of or if it's all moot if they come to some type of agreement. And I say 6 weeks down the road, before that, they'll have some type of agreement. They realize at this point that they're up against it time-wise, and it's not favoring either party if they keep prolonging it. So I think they're going to try to come to some type of resolution before the ruling comes out, and it'll be a moot point one way or the other whatever this ruling comes to. So I see football starting on time. I don't know about the preseason, but I see football starting on time. So.
Okay, Michael, have you heard about these secret meetings that have been going on in Chicago between the owners and the player reps?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think about that? I mean, are they just putting on this court case just for the people, or are they legitimately doing something behind the scenes to prevent this litigation from going forward?
Right now, I have no idea what these folks are thinking. I mean, because I just cannot understand the owner's point. I can't even understand how they even getting ear time with other judges, because this is just simply ridiculous. It has just gotten way, way out of hand. And the greedy just want to stay greedy, and I'm just not understanding how they can just perpetuate this nonsense like it's some type of labor dispute. And we all know it's about the dollars and cents. But and at the same time, I don't see where they're losing so much money. They don't. I mean, I really don't. I don't see where these owners are saying that they're losing so much money. I don't see it. I mean, they're not even paying for stadiums anymore. I mean, come on, let's be real. They're not even paying for stadiums anymore.
Well, you're right, because it's coming mostly from taxpayer dollars.
No doubt. So yeah. I'm just at a loss. And then, I read somewhere that the NFL is a non-profit organization. Really?
Yes. Yes, in certain aspects of it. I mean, it's the truth. It's the truth. In certain aspects of it, it's a non-profit organization.
I just don't get it, Vic. I'm hoping that that they come to a resolution that's fair, and that we do get football started. But these guys, I don't trust the owners no further than I can see them. I really don't. I mean, because of all the little manipulation tactics they were doing, and all the little cutback door and stuff that they were doing, all of that was just uncalled for. I mean, really, it just was uncalled for. I mean, I'm gonna, hope and pray that we get football going on, but I kind of just after the second ruling, I just kind of phased out. I was just like, come on, man, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing?
Wow. I mean, in a lot of respects, you're right, and I feel the same way. I think that it's all about the dollars for the owners, because there's a problem there. And Drew Brees brought it up last week, and I meant to talk about it last week, where the owners smelled blood in the water. When Gene Upshaw died, they felt that they had an opportunity to take advantage of the situation, and because there was no real leadership in place for the players until DeMario Smith came in, and the provision in the collective bargaining agreement stated that the owners could opt out of it at this year. So that's their contention that they're giving to the courts. It was in the collective bargaining agreement. It's something that they all agreed upon. It's not something new that the owners are just saying, well, you know what, we don't want to do it. This was something that was agreed upon in the previous collective bargaining agreement, and the players have no right to say, no, they can't do it. That's what they're arguing, and I believe that's what the circuit court in St. Louis is agreeing to, and saying, well, you know what, hey, you guys said they can opt out of the contract if they wanted to. They did.
Right.
So what are you complaining about? So I think that's more of an issue right now than anything that the players are looking at. But one thing that's going in their favor is that the other lawsuit over the $4 billion for the
TV rights?
nest egg, so to speak. Huh?
The TV rights.
Yeah, the TV rights. That's going in the players' favor. And I believe they're going to get a ruling on that really soon, and right now it seems as though it's going to be a ruling for the players. So I guess I'm trying to figure out how will both of these rulings affect each other? Because the TV rights thing comes out first. Let's say the players win that. How then do the judges, if it goes to that point, in St. Louis rule against the players? You understand what I'm saying? Because the ruling is, or the case is, that the owners knowingly and willingly locked out the players and try to get this money to provide for themselves to support their team, or whatever, during the lockout. So that's the issue.
Yeah, I think that if the players win that TV rights beef, I think if they win that, then the owners are going to be up against the ropes. Even if they come back and say, in the other case that they're being, that they could opt out and, they can renegotiate. So I think the owners will be really up against it because they won't have that next egg. So
correct.
It again, it comes back to the dollars. I mean, they could sit and argue contractually what they could do and what they can't do, but the bottom line, everybody knows it comes down to the dollar. So I would encourage everyone to follow that dollar. Follow the dollar.
What you got, Jerry? What you got before we promote your show?
I'm just ready for football, man. All this speculation. I'm just ready for football. Just
no doubt.
Stop all this Stop all this BS. Get a deal done, and let's play some football.
No doubt. I'm with you 100%, bro. Anytime the federal government can come close to being shut down and they could get it together, why can't they? Why can't they get it together?
I don't know because the billionaires control everything in sports. But anyway, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, I started the fantasy football leagues already. I'm recruiting just in case it does start on time. Don't worry about it. There's a space for you. Just $100 to get in. You'll lose to me because I'm going to beat Jerry this year, promise, or somebody else. But $100 to get in, you get $1,000 plus a trophy. What do you say? Think about it. Jerry, real quickly, while we are live, give the folks a preview of what tomorrow's master plan's about.
We have, I wouldn't say an epidemic, but the master plan is going to go over men on the down low. Your girlfriends, wives, you don't know what's going on with your man. Tune in. Give me some feedback on what you think is going on with your man and the signs that you may see that he is on the down low. 10 to 10:30 Sunday. Be there with the master, myself, and the master plan.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what it is. My cousin, Mr. Grown Soul and Real Talk. Promo your stuff real quick.
Yeah, every Wednesday night you can check us out for mature, intellectual conversation about relationships and whatever's going on in the news. Every Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also check us out at www.facebook.com/Grown Soul. We're coming up on our 50th show, and I'm just so happy. I'm proud, and thanks for all the love and support. 50th show.
All right. 50 shows. Congratulations. We've done over 1,000, but I love it anyway. I still love you, cousin. I still love you, cousin. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is me, Smeeze FSP. It's Vic. I got Jerry. I got my cousin Michael. We are who we say we are. We are FSP. We are the Cruise Show. The Cruise Show is also every Thursday. Every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Jay, Jeff, and Mike get down with the get down when it comes to sports. Sorry we didn't get to talk about Ohio State and the Terrell Pryor incident. If y'all want to do it, we can do it now because we're in overtime. But if not, I'll leave that up to the Cruise Show on Thursday. See me every Saturday, 1 p.m. Catch the Master Plan every Sunday, 10 o'clock a.m. You want to talk about Terrell Pryor, guys, or should I just leave that for a later day?
Oh, that's cool. We can talk about it. I ain't got nowhere to go for a minute.
Okay.
I got a split, so I'm gonna be talking. I'm gonna be leaving you guys. So,
all right, bro.
I'll catch you possibly again on Saturdays.
You know my wife's gonna listen to the show. You done got her all upset about that other topic, so you know she's calling in.
Okay, no problem. We can talk. No problem.
You had her heated to talk about women, but it's all good.
It's all good.
All right.
You
Take
guys
it easy,
take
Jay.
it. All right, bye.
All right, real quick, Mike. What do you think about this Terrell Pryor situation? I mean, it's speculated. Well, it's not speculated. It's documented that the kid has had 6 cars, rental cars, or whatever the case may be, since he's been at Ohio State, showing up with a different car. His one of his teammates, who was not identified, even stated that this whole situation is his fault and that Coach Tressel paid the price for Pryor's issues, and he doesn't want to deal with Pryor. What do you think?
I think the entire NCAA needs to deal with all of these issues because they're just about at every big school. Every one of them is something like this going on, and we all know this. You know what? I mean, there's been plenty of situations where the top recruits have been driving better cars than I've ever had. You know, and I'm not even going to speculate what's going on here in Maryland, but they've been pretty clean. But I'm gonna tell you one thing: they were staying in some nice areas out here in the county. I don't know what's going on with it. Yeah, they were staying like out in Lake Arbor, and then some were staying out in Woodmore. Nice spots, nice spots. But we all know that this stuff goes on. You know, and the NCAA, I think their rules are archaic. They need to change it. They need to change it because it's obvious they're not winning. They're not winning. They're not winning this battle. You know, I think that there's going to have to be some type of compensation or some type of allowance to let these kids, you know, do what they do, whatever. But I have no idea. I don't think Tressel should be to blame so much. I think he should take a hit, but I don't think he should shoulder as much of the blame as he's been getting. But because you can't necessarily police every person's moral compass. You know, you can't. And I just think that's totally unfair on his part. But at the same time, we all know that stuff's been going on at the Ohio State University. Come on, man.
Of course. Well, that's the thing. Tressel, he resigned because he felt that he was bringing more shame to the Ohio State than anything. And Terrell Pryor is looking at going to the NFL supplemental draft because the school and the area has turned against him because of what they lost in Jim Tressel. Now, my question to you is, he's a young guy. He comes in. He's very athletic. He does these things on the football field. He says he's going to come back for a senior, even though he's going to be suspended for the first 5 games for getting the tattoos and stuff. Let's say he does go to the supplemental draft. Do you see any team taking a chance on him and signing him or drafting him?
Oh, bottom line, I think there's going to be a team in the NFL
that'll give him a chance. That's no doubt. Will he get that payday that he's looking for? I think that's more the issue. I don't think he's going to come in getting that money. You know what he's looking at. You know how every kid, with some talent got stars in their eyes, and they say, "I'm going to the NFL." I don't think that's going to happen for him. Because let's face it, he has shortcomings as a quarterback, but he's hella athletic. The kid, I just think he's got a lot to the table, different things that he can do. But as a quarterback, I think that he definitely has some shortcomings. I think that if a team takes a chance on him, he may be converting to maybe quarterback. To wide receiver, or maybe even a safety or something. I really don't know. It just depends on the team that'll take the chance on him, and will he convert over? As far as him being a quarterback, I don't know. Because you got so many different teams with so many other different project quarterbacks out there. It would just depend on his will, and you never can compensate for that. And judging from what he's done in the past, I really don't know if he's gonna be able to take that step, as far as his heart and his will to be what he wants to be in the NFL. I definitely think he has the tools to do it, but I just don't know.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I was going to say that I don't see him converting from quarterback to anything else. Yes, he's athletic, and yes, he's big, and he's somewhat fast, but he's not fast enough, in my opinion, to be a receiver. If he were to do that, I don't know if you remember the Matt Jones guy out of Arkansas who went to Jacksonville. Yeah. He's more like that. A tall, athletic guy, but no blazing speed. We don't know if he can catch a ball. I think he's progressed as a quarterback. He would have a learning curve to do the NFL thing. And if he got picked up in the supplemental draft, folks are going to give him a 4th, 5th, or 6th round pick for him. And yes, those guys get paid a little bit, but they're still, they'll sign like a 3-year contract for $250,000 or $200,000 or whatever it is, and he'll still be making minimum wage pretty much under that contract. I think he's better off being a free agent. Now the problem with that is the draft has already happened. Right. In the supplemental draft, he would have to enter the supplemental draft, not get drafted, and then try out for a team like LeGarrette Blount. Now, LeGarrette Blount had some troubles back in the day, a couple years ago when he was at Oregon, and he had immense talent, but he never got drafted, got a free agent deal to go to either San Fran or Tennessee, chose San Fran, then backed out, went to Tennessee, was fighting in practice, got cut from Tennessee, Tampa Bay picked him up, Raheem Moore took a chance on this guy, and he has proven to be a stellar stud. Right. Now, that's what I see happening with Terrell Pryor. He has that same talent. He just needs to be given a motive or a goal to prove something. Because right now, he don't have to prove anything. He can say, well, I'm a quarterback. I've gone and did this. I played at the Big Ten, blah, blah, blah. So what, kid? You haven't played in the NFL. And he needs to be given an opportunity. There are plenty of teams that need a quarterback. He can be developed. That's my point I'm trying to get to.
But
he can be developed. Think about it. Because
Raheem already got his man. You got Leslie up there. He already got his man. Christian he already got his project. You got. What do you think about Cincinnati? Because Carson might be out.
Well, Carson's out, and they already drafted their quarterback in the 2nd round.
Oh yeah,
they got AJ Green in the 1st round, and they got the quarterback out of TCU in the second round. Andy Dalton, I think it's Andy Dalton that they picked up. So Carson's done. They're gonna let Carson retire. Ocho Cinco might be out too. Steve Smith might be out in Carolina as well. I mean, to be honest, right now, unless you go with the Raiders, picking him up just in case Jason Campbell suffers or whatever, I don't see too many teams out there needing a tall, athletic quarterback. Arizona could get one, but they don't want to develop him. They're going to go in the Kevin Cobb sweepstakes. Minnesota's going to pick up Donovan McNabb, and, you know, it's going to be a whole bunch of different things going on there. But I think Pryor, I think his best bet, and I'm being very honest with this, his best bet is to go back to Ohio State, serve his 5-game suspension, play the remainder of the season, and be the second quarterback picked in the NFL draft behind Luck. Because Luck's going to be the first guy picked out of Stanford, and then the next available quarterback, I think, will be Terrell Pryor because he has great talent. But if he comes out and goes into the supplemental draft, it's going to say a lot about his character and dealing with adversity. Because if he goes back to Ohio State, there's going to be a lot of adversity. A lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and if he can deal with that, if he can deal with that, that speaks volumes to the NFL scouts and GMs, in my opinion. So that's my thoughts on it. But I want to thank you for calling in, cuz this is Fantasy Sports and Politics. That's my cousin Michael, Grown Soul and Real Talk, happening every Wednesday, 8:30, coming up on their 50th show. They're going to do their thing, and they have a big following, I'm still going to try to convince them to join my network, but we'll see what happens. Again, we'll be back next Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get ready for it, folks. Get ready. It's me, it's FSP. Thanks, Mike. I'll see you next time. But, ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to
Fantasy Sports and Politics. Get ready to rumble! You want to talk smack? You in the right place. So take a step back before I get all up in your face. I know you got your little views, you know I got mine. But there's like 50 other dudes holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir. Next caller, please. And if I don't concur, we can agree to disagree. We're talking fantasy, sports, and politics.